he's on top. Million subs, he never gonna flop. Out of Chicago, where the streets don't sleep. Betting on games, making cash real deep. Crystal ball for sports, he knows the lines. He's a sports aficionado, the money he finds. From football to basketball, he's always on point. Predicting winners never disappoints. He's got that hustle, that Chicago vibe. Making moves on the streets, cash on the side. With E, you know it's always a bet. He's the king of the game, never forget.
Hello and welcome to the Etoft21sports Show for June 17th. How is everyone doing? My name is Eric. I'm the man behind Etoft21sports. Absolutely loaded episode for you today. My boy Bryce from the I Need It Sports Pod is this week's special guest. Him and I are going to talk KD trade locations, Memphis Grizzlies, their big trade with the Orlando Magic, what's going to go on with Giannis, and also share some bets for NBA Finals Game 6. But before we get into all that, I'd like to say thank you to the sponsor of the show, ProphetX. If you're not using ProphetX, go to the App Store, download the app, use promo code ETOFT21 for 2% back on all your bets for the first 30 days. If you're not using this, you are missing out. I talked about it last week. With all these regulations going on, paying to play, the 50-cent tax that's going to be coming from DraftKings, FanDuel, and everything, this peer-to-peer betting is the future of the sports betting industry. And justouttennis.store. Go to justouttennis.store. Use promo code ETOFT21 for 10% off your order. Now let's see what our boy Gino from DRF.com has cooking for us for his horse racing bet of the day.
This week's best bet's going to come on Friday at Churchill Downs. We're going to be looking at race number 8 at the DRF past performances. Just go to DRF.com to check these ones out. I don't love a lot of the horses that have run a bunch. I feel like we've seen some of their best races. The one to me that's interesting is the 2, Horizonte. This horse, you can take a look when you click right there on the dam, and you can see that her mom was pretty good on the turf. She had 6 wins on the grass. She was a graded stakes winner on the grass, so really nice on the turf, and has some siblings that were really good on the turf, like Synchrony, who was a 7-time winner on the grass and was a multiple graded stakes winner. Chocolate Kisses had a couple wins on the turf. Another sibling named Point System had a couple wins on the turf. So Horizonte has already shown us some ability on the dirt, and now we could possibly see this horse be even better on the grass. So let's take a look at Horizonte, who's going to be trying the turf for the first time. We can move back and take a look at the past performances here. 8-1 on the morning line for Horizonte. First time on the grass. This is going to be race number 8, Churchill Downs on Friday. Best of luck playing the races. And make sure you tune in each and every week. Eric's going to give you the best information in all of sports.
Make sure to give my boy Gino a follow at It's Me Gino B on social media. Now, let's welcome this week's special guest from H-Town, my boy Bryce. Bryce, how you doing today, my man?
Doing good. Glad to be back on the pod. How you doing, Eric? It's been a while, but
doing good, man. Doing good, dude. Stuff has changed, dude. You got a whole new backdrop going on, man. You got the logo in the back, dude.
Yeah,
I like it, man. I like it, dude.
Shout out to AI. That's I just put it in the prompt and it created this nice little backdrop for me. So,
have you seen those the Bigfoot vlogs on TikTok? I think.
I don't think I have. It's a like channel on TikTok.
Yeah, this guy like had all these AI videos where if Bigfoot was a blogger.
Oh wow! No,
so the one I saw today was him and the Yeti went to Mexico, and the Yeti got kidnapped by the cartel, and then he started running the cartel. And then I saw one where he matched with this girl, Raven, on Tinder. Like,
the powers of AI. It is insane.
It is absolutely insane AI stuff and everything that is going on with it. It absolutely blows my mind. But look, we're not here to talk AI. We're here to talk about everything going on in the association. The NBA, absolutely insane time of year. Game 6 is a couple nights away. But before we get into all that, our bets and everything, they're saying this is going to be a big offseason. We kind of had our first blockbuster trade with the Magic sending 4 first rounders, a pick
Unprotected.
swap, Cole Anthony, and KCP to the Magic for Mr. Desmond Bane. Talk to me, man. What do you think about that trade, my friend?
Initial thoughts were, what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought more about it, and I kind of like the trade for the Magic. Obviously, everybody knows their one problem is they needed some type of offensive spark. I'm not saying Desmond Bane is the missing piece that's going to take them from playoff team to championship contender, but for at least next year, I feel like they've made the leap. I know obviously there's still the draft and teams to make offseason moves as well, but I feel like they at least just made the jump to the second best or third best team in the East behind Indiana. And then I'm still holding out hope that Detroit is going to take that next step as well with Cunningham next year. But I feel like Desmond Bane is a guy who can come in, give you 20, maybe 5 rebounds, 5 assists on almost 50, 40, 90 splits. Again, the trade compensation for it is a little mind-boggling to me because I'm just like, if this is what Desmond Bane is going for, I don't even want to know what Giannis would go for if that trade is to happen. And then also, I know a lot of teams are interested in some of Boston's pieces. Now Boston is like, hey, if you want Derek White, I would assume you kind of got to maybe the same or a little bit more for Derek White or a guy like that. So I don't know. The trade landscape kind of seems broken right now, and now we're seeing the ramifications of that with some of these other projected deals, whether it be for KD, Giannis. I'm like, man, four unprotected first round picks, and I think one of those is a pick Orlando got from Phoenix. That's the only one that's a little puzzling to me because I think Phoenix has a chance to be in the lottery the next couple years with how things are looking out there. That pick is gone now, so it better work out for Desmond Bane. But I guess on the Memphis side, is this now? Are they kind of regrouping, kind of tearing it all down, or are they trying to just move forward with Jaren Jackson and John Morant and go from there? Because Desmond Bane's obviously been a big piece for them the last couple years and what they built.
I mean, when I look at it like this, that I feel that they need to throw those extra picks in because of the KCP contract.
Yeah.
That contract is insane. I think that's why they did it. You mentioned the pick, I guess, like, so between, the Magic pick, the Wizards pick, and the Suns pick, they get the second best one. So they could have the 2 pick going into next year's draft. And for me, that's kind of the draft pick that you're going to want. These other ones, the Magic are going to be good, like you said, so I really don't think it matters that much. I think Bane fits perfect for this Magic team, gives them a legit spot-up shooter. And when you think about it, people are saying he had a down year last year. He still shot 39% from 3.
Yeah.
So let's just let that sink in. There are many people in the league that would die to shoot 39% from deep. There are many teams that would love to have a 39% from deep 3-point shooter, and that's considered a down year for Desmond Bane. And I also think the big thing is he can defend, he can play off Pancaro and Wagner. When one of them's sitting, he can be the guy you run off, dribble handoffs, you trust with the ball, isn't going to be a liability on the other end. The Magic's identity is defense. The big rumor was what? They're going to trade for Trae Young. Now, if they trade for Trae Young, this is going to go from being Pancaro's team to Trae Young's team.
Yeah.
And Trae is awful on the defensive end. Bane isn't that. This is a move that stays true to who they are, and it makes them legitimately better. And they're going to be one of the favorites now. They're already down 8-1 to win the East. They're going to be right in there. I'm glad because I put futures on them in Detroit right when all this Giannis stuff started popping. So I got them at a pretty good number. Now for the Grizzlies, they're breaking up the big 3 of Bane, Morant, and JJ. And now they're going with the big 3 of Ja, JJ, and I think Zach Edey. Because we need to remember, they fired Taylor Jenkins because he wasn't playing Zach Edey. I am not a Zach Edey guy at all. Not at all. Now, if they use these picks to make another move, then I start to see the vision, that pick swap where they get the second best pick between the Wizards, Suns, and Magic. I think that's a real prize. Maybe there's this other move that's going to happen. But that's going to be the pick that needs to be the centerpiece if you're going to get one of these guys that's out there. The issue to me is I think the front office with Memphis is going to try to prove that they were right drafting Zach Edey, and they're going to try to force this to be the big three. If they're going to use the picks that's not the pick swap to kind of do what the Magic did by moving off KCP, they're going to try to move off Luke Kennard. You know what I mean? Try to move off some of their bad contracts. I think the Grizzlies, this guy have another move coming, but I just hate it that Edey's going to be one of the centerpieces because I'm not an Edey guy. For the Magic, absolute home run pick, but do not bet them now. It's going to take a little time for them to click. Wait like a month into the season while they struggle a little bit. Then we need to look to bet the Orlando Magic. Also, we got some KD news.
Yeah.
KD, pretty adamant that he wants to go to Miami. God knows. How can I say this politely without getting bitched at by all the Heat fans? Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I
why?
guess maybe he's looking because he's what, 36, 37, I think. So he's almost 40. Guess maybe he's looking now towards like, okay, well, places I could retire essentially and no state income tax. That's really what I think it boils down to because all three of his intended destinations, 2 in Texas, 1 in Florida, it's like every last penny of his last contract. I think he wants that money. But yeah, Miami, it's just like, at least with San Antonio, Houston, you can make the argument that you could win with those teams. You go to Miami, I know it's going to be the East, so it's not like I don't think they could be competitive, but I don't think you're winning still with that team. And I guess what your second best player is going to be Bam Adebayo. I just don't see that happening, especially with a 37-year-old KD. So that one's kind of is mind puzzling. I don't know why Miami is on his
Want
intended
to see some of
destinations.
those fine Miami women when he's like cruising? Like I don't know, man. Like that doesn't make sense to me at all. So the thing is, where do you think he ends up? Like if you had to pick right now, where do you think he ends up? Because it's enticing because he only has 1 year left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's an enticing thing. Like you could go, if you're a team, you could go all in next year, move some of your bad contracts, and then he leaves and you just kind of reset. Like I know Toronto hasn't done anything since they traded for Leonard, but it worked out. They got their ship. You know what I mean? So that worked out for them. I think we could easily see a team do that. But where do you think KD goes?
Just being completely biased, I'm hoping he ends up with the Rockets. But from like I said, this Desmond Bane trade kind of threw a hitch in everything. And now I'm looking at some of these projected trades that teams have apparently offered Phoenix for Kevin Durant. I'm just like, honestly, I feel like how do you pronounce Matt Ishiba, whatever the owner's name is. He's basically ran the Suns into the ground since he's got ownership a couple years ago. But some of these teams are giving them great offers, and it's like Phoenix really owes no loyalty to Kevin Durant. It's not like he's a career guy there. He's been there the last couple years, 2.5 years or so, hasn't really done much of anything. Mm-hmm. And I know, obviously, like, you want to do right by guys because, future that can affect future contract negotiations with free agents and things like that. But, I mean, like you said, I see the comment from Let's Make Money. He said no to the Timberwolves. Minnesota actually offered a great trade package. Toronto's offering a great trade package. And I think I've heard that they want the number 2 pick if he's going to go to San Antonio. It's like, you're not getting the number 2 pick for a 37-year-old Kevin Durant. For us, it's like, I think we'd have to get a third team involved because it's Jalen Green's going to be included. They have no use for Jalen Green since they got Devin Booker. And then they also can't get rid of Bradley Beal because they took on that dumb contract. I don't know where he ends up at this point. But
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just I think Matt Ashiba, I think he has the potential to just completely botch all of this though with his demands. It's like, no, you have no leverage in this situation. You almost have to take what you can get because you have no future picks. You have no young promising players anymore. Like you're gonna have to do is if you don't want to go full rebuild, you're gonna have to do a semi-quasi rebuild, something. So you're gonna have to give up something and not get everything you truly want. Because again, it's 37-year-old Kevin Durant, and you're also on the hook for his $54.5 million, I think, is due this year in his final year.
So the fun thing is, like, I'm looking at it right now. So Raptors offer Jacob Poeltl, Quickly, Barrett, and the 9th pick to the Suns. The T-Wolves offered Gobert, Dante, your choice of either Dillingham or Terrence Shannon Jr. in the 17th pick. And your Rockets offered Green and Jabari Smith.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Jalen Green didn't do any favors to the Houston Rockets with his performance in the playoffs. He did no favors whatsoever to him. So like, this is my thing. You know how I like to think outside the box, say some crazy shit. First off, I know because of Stephen A. Smith, who's a doofus, my Pistons are getting a dark horse team for KD. I'm going to say no. I like what they're building in Detroit. They've got the core in place. Cunningham, Duran, Thompson, Ivy. I don't want them to move any of these guys. I want these guys to build together, kind of follow what OKC is doing. I don't want to force a move just to kind of force a move. Now, the team that I think is going to make a move for him. Are you ready for this, dude? Guarantee you will not guess this team.
Who?
The Los Angeles Clippers. All right, so hear me out. Norman Powell, Bogey, Eric Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, a 2029 first-round pick, and a 2031 first-round pick. Why is those picks? I have no idea where they're balloons. Why are those first-round picks important? Because KD and Leonard could be gone by then. They could be retired. You know what I mean? This could be a rebuilding year. So these picks could be at the top of the draft. You pair KD with Leonard, see if this duo can finally stay healthy, make a run in a championship. It matches the Clippers' timeline perfectly. Kawhi isn't getting any younger. The window is right now, and this move actually makes sense. Way more realistic to me than KD going to Detroit. You know what I mean? Detroit isn't quite ready to empty the asset board right now. The Clippers, they're built to win right now. So they're going to empty the assets to bring him in. And part of me wonders if the Spurs are in that same boat. Someone sent me this video by, oh my God. Who's the dude that used to work at ESPN that has the podcast? Oh my God.
Not talking about Bill Sims, are you?
Yes. Someone sent me this video when he is talking, and it actually, when you think about it, it kind of goes with what I said about the Pistons. Do the Spurs just kind of say, you know what? We're going to move Fox and get some more assets. We kind of like what we got from Dylan Harper and have Dylan Harper and Wemby develop together.
I was honestly thinking that because I've been seeing them refuse to give up the second pick, and I'm like, well, I keep seeing reports that it would be Dylan Harper. I'm like, I just feel like a team, because I guess Phoenix said they want Stephon Castle. San Antonio said no to that as well. I'm like, a team with Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and De'Aaron Fox and Wemby. That's almost too much because you're kind of hampering the development of all your players. Because obviously Wemby's got to be the guy, and then whoever's second, you can pick your poison there with either three. But I'm like, they did trade for De'Aaron in the middle of the season, and they didn't have to. And that was also knowing that De'Aaron wants to sign a max extension that he wasn't going to sign in Sacramento. And it's like, if you don't want to, tie yourselves to De'Aaron, yeah, I would move off of him. And I feel like you could go get. I feel like Dylan Harper is going to be a really good NBA player, but
I think
obviously
it's gonna be great.
there's
I think it's gonna be
nothing that can
better than
say like,
Bryce.
oh, he'll be better than De'Aaron Fox, but I think he will be. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I guess
Yeah.
the Clipper scenario, though, the only thing that scares me is you're getting rid of a lot of the bench.
Yeah.
And then it's like you're going to have a trio of KD, Kawhi, and Harden.
Yes.
And how many games are those three going to play together
Yes.
within a full 82?
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Oh, man.
But then another thing is like Wemby's battling this blood clot issue, which is a scary thing. Like, is he, you know what I mean? Is this a little bit more serious than we thought? And is he going to miss more time? You know what I mean? Like, if this is going to be a thing where he's going to miss, I don't even know what he was projected to miss, but it goes into like January, February. You know what I mean? Like, do you really want, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like a quote unquote lost season. Do you just kind of say, okay, you know what? We'll let Harper have the keys. Harper can run it for a year. Harper and Castle develop together in the backcourt. Then we get Wemby coming back. So, like, as a gap year, do they usually use it as a gap year? It's an interesting conversation just because I feel that a lot of teams, like, it's a copycat league. Like, when the Warriors started making because of the threes, everyone went to that. And look at what the league is now. Now, with this Pacers and this fucking voodoo run that they're having, our team's going to just be like, oh, we don't want, we don't really need, we need two guys, two quote unquote, like, top 25 guys. Because when you like, Siakam and Halliburton aren't top 15 guys in the league in my eyes. And if they are, it's like barely.
I was going to say that because I know the prompt was like, do I have any wild predictions? I don't know if there's any way for them as far as like the financials of it go. Is there a way the Pacers could trade for KD? Because, I mean, honestly, if they're to lose this, like I said, I feel like at least going into next year, they deserve and probably are the favorite out of the East, considered everybody else's current situations. But the one problem they have is that they don't have a top guy that can score. Like, I get they signed Siakam for that, but I feel like Siakam is more so a better two, as he was in Toronto. With Kawhi, he's not a number one guy that's gonna lead you to championship. I mean, granted, they could possibly turn things around, win 2 games, and win the championship. But if they are to lose, and it seems like they have a window right now, do they go get a KD? Because then that alleviates a lot of, like, the main problem these last couple games is, oh, Halliburton's not doing enough scoring. It's like, that's not Halliburton's game. Like, he can give you, a solid 25, 30 every now and again. But as far as consistently expecting him to get 20 to 25, that's just not his game. But if you give him a guy like KD that can be a go-to scorer, spot up, and Siakam and Halliburton, I don't know how many bench pieces they would have to give up because they're a deep roster, but I feel like that could be another team where it's like they just fit the billing of, if there's any team that needs to go all in right now, they would be another one. And it's like they even have maybe a better road than the Clippers being in the East. And the Tatum injury, which I would suspect he's not back next year. So eliminate Boston. It's like you got to compete with teams that you already know you can beat. New York, Milwaukee, depending on, what they end up doing, is Giannis staying and leaving, like that would be the other wild card where it's like, maybe if they lose Thursday or Sunday, if there's a game 7, it's like, well, dang, we're right there. Do we go all in?
The thing with them, though, is Turner's a free agent. Actually, they have his bird rights, so they can re-sign him. But are they going to be willing to go over the luxury tax? Because they're going to have to do it if they want to bring back Miles Turner. And I mean, I'm looking at their contract situation right now. So Turner and Thomas Bryant are a free agent right now. Following next season, Mathurin is going to be a free agent. He's going to be 24 years old. He's looking better. This electric scoring he's showing. 2027, Aaron Nesmith. 2028 is going to be their big year because it's Toppin, Siakam, Nembhard. So that's an interesting thing. I just don't think they do have the assets. You know what I mean? Because they're going to have to give rid of probably Nembhard and Nesmith and probably Mathurin, and that's going to kill their bench.
Kill their bench, yeah.
That is absolutely going to kill their bench. So the lastly, and I have a lot on this one. Where do you think Giannis starts the season next year?
At this point, I feel like it's just gonna be Milwaukee. I mean, I don't know if Desmond Bane just went for what he went for. I don't know what franchise is trading the whole barn for Giannis, because it's like Toronto, I think Brooklyn maybe, which I don't know why Giannis. I guess if Giannis just wants to be in New York, but it can't be the Knicks. Brooklyn, maybe it is the Knicks. I couldn't see Milwaukee choosing to do that and give like the Knicks, because that would be pairing Giannis and Brunson for years to come. So I couldn't necessarily see that. I feel like it has to be Milwaukee. The only way I thought Giannis was truly going to get out of Milwaukee, and this was even before the Bane trade, after we did the live pod for game, was this 3? And when Indiana won, at that point it was like, which is ironic enough, we were talking about trading J-Dub, obviously, who's now having the series of his life in the finals.
Yeah.
It was like, if OKC is to somehow lose this series, which is like everybody was saying, oh, OKC should beat the Pacers, no problem, this is their year. If they were somehow to flop this series, it was like, okay, I can see OKC throwing everything they have to go get Giannis, because like, okay, we have enough with Shea, Chet, some of these bench guys. Let's J-Dub all the picks we've been storing up for years. Let's go get Giannis to really go after it. Mm-hmm. But they seem to be okay. I think they'll probably pull this out, whether it's in 6 or 7. I don't know who else would throw everything for Giannis.
So here's my thing. Someone I know who lives up in the area, guess who they saw 2 months ago at the DMV? Giannis. They live in Milwaukee. They literally saw Giannis at the DMV. Why are you going to go to the DMV if you're moving? You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, why? To me, that kind of sums it up. And plus, all the local reporters are saying, like, he is staying. So I really think he's staying. Yeah. I think it's going to be a gap year. And let's be honest, even if it's a gap year in the East, the Bucks could still compete. Now, I made some moves. Just hear me out, okay? Trade Kyle Kuzma for a better fit. Came over in the Middleton deal, but the playoffs were rough. Doc Rivers benched him in Game 5. That tells you everything. Shot 31% from 3, 188th in the league. That's just not going to cut it, not next to Giannis. Contract is only $21.8 million. I would love to see them target. Are you ready for this player I'm going to throw out to you, my man? DeJounte Murray from the Pellies. Package Kuzma, Connaughton, and maybe a first-round pick. You're going to get a guy that's averaging 17.5, 7.4 assists, 2 steals, and he can fill that void while Dame recovers. Maybe go after Richards, the big man. He's only $5 million. The challenge here are the Bucks are light on picks and are going to be very creative. Also, we got some key free agents. You know, Brooke Lopez, Gary Trent Jr., Taurean Prince, all free agent. Plus, Portis and Connaughton have player options. In my eyes, Trent Jr. is a must keep. 18.3 points a game, shot 54.5% from 3 in the playoffs. Look, you got to bring him back. He proved he should get a contract back. Bobby Portis, pick up the $13 million player option or give him a multi-year dealer. were in the $14 million range. He still brings firepower off the bench. And if Lopez gets moved or doesn't re-sign, he's going to have to be the starting center. Kevin Porter Jr. at $2.5 million. Look, he looked great when he started for them, dude. He was legit when he started for them. I think that could be another piece that gives them a nice down the stretch player, 16.5 and 5 assists. Add more depth, more athleticism via free agency. Dame's going to be out for all the year. They need to get guard depth, some front court athleticism. They have a $14 million exemption and a $5.2 million biannual exemption to work with. Trey Jones from the Spurs, pure point guard. You know who else was free? Mitchell from the Heat. He's going to be a free agent. Maybe they look to go after him. In the front court, maybe they sign Mark Williams, I think, can play. And I think for the bullshit that the Lakers pulled, he's going to be on the cheap. Jackson Hayes is going to be a free agent. Those are some athletic bigs they can look to get. Look to bring back Malik Beasley, maybe. They could develop the young guys. You got AJ Green, showed promise last year, 7.4 points per game, shot 43% from deep. Could easily be your starting shooting guard if needed. They got Taylor Smith, their second round pick, has some shooting upside. And Ryan Rollins looked great where he started last year. And they have the 47th pick this season. Aaron Wiggins for the Thunder was pick 53. So there's talent if you just go there. Now, last move they could make. Now, look, dude, swing for the fences. Are you ready for this one? You ready for this big move? Trade for Kevin Durant. Because here's the thing. There's that big story going around that Durant and Giannis want to team up together in Toronto. Why go to Toronto that has the worst taxes? You know what I mean? Like, if this is going to be a 1 year, hey, let's try to win it. Why not come to Milwaukee? Kuzma, Portis, Connaughton, and a first-round pick maybe. The issue is the Suns obviously want some young players. Yeah. Milwaukee doesn't have the pick capital. Spurs have so many first-round picks, and he wants to be very vocal about going to San Antonio, Miami, or Houston. Look, $54.7 million, going to be a tough one to match, but fun to dream, though. But realistically, I think he's going to stay in Milwaukee, and I think Milwaukee's going to be right there. I mean, because when you look at the landscape of the East, I think the Pacers are going to take a step back. I think they're going to lose Turner. I think that's going to be a big blow to them. We don't know what's going on with his Halliburton injury. Does he play and it become a more serious injury? So, look, I don't know. I'll say he stays, man. I'll say he stays, and I'll say I probably bound to win the East, dude.
Yeah, I think he stays. I think, too, I saw a couple weeks ago, I forgot who interviewed him. Maybe it was a podcast or something, but they'd asked him what he thought of, like, the NBA Finals right now, and he was saying, like, he was just enjoying and rooting for good basketball, not necessarily either side to win, but he hoped, Milwaukee could be back in that spot soon. So it was like, oh, like, he wants to stay in Milwaukee, which is fair. And like I said, I mean, I just feel like any team that truly has the draft and trade capital to make a trade for Giannis isn't any team Giannis would really want to be playing for, because those aren't contending teams. So the best case scenario is just to stick it out in Milwaukee. He's always said he wanted to be like a one-team guy like Kobe, just whole career played in one spot. It is what it is.
If they trade him for fucking Towns, I'm going to be so fucking pissed. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Someone said that. I'm like, dude, if you trade for Towns,
I mean, it would have to be damn near all of New York's roster, though. You'd have to get, I feel like OG, Towns, maybe Josh Hart, Mitchell Rock, yeah.
And like another thing with New York is whoever they bring on, are they going to bring Rick Brunson back?
So I seen a funny rumor that was saying New York was only asking a bunch of teams for, coaches who are in contract already for interviews. That way they could get turned down, and so they have an excuse to say, "Oh, we tried to get, great candidates and who we wanted, and then they'll go and hire Rick Brunson, so it doesn't make it seem like, oh, we're just hiring him for Jalen Brunson.
And there's all these rumors that the guys on the team fucking hate him. Like,
I don't know.
Nick's firing fucking Tibbs is going to be a disaster.
Yeah, I didn't think Tibbs was the right coach for them to get over that hump. But yeah, it was. They should have made that move last year. It was crazy to fire him this year after he got you to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, granted, his rotations are terrible, but he got you there, and you haven't been there in what 25 plus years, I think.
Which is absolutely insane. He has your best season in 20 years, and that is what you do. Oh, peace out, dude. See you later, man. Yeah. Let's jump into some bets, dude. Why don't you explain what your first bet is? I absolutely love this one. I'll probably bet it myself. And I'm going to be playing around with the NBA trade machine for the Knicks trading for Giannis.
Okay. Yeah, so I got J-Dub under 23.5. I get it. He's having the series of his life, but this is probably the best spot you're going to get him at. Whole series, he's kind of been hovering around like the 19.5 to 21 mark. He's been phenomenal the last 3 games. Obviously, last game, he dropped the 40 ball. He's averaging 31 over the last 3 on 50% shooting. But prior to this stretch, J-Dub, of course, was always kind of that guy that was rumored to be in potential trade talks for OKC because he was so in the playoffs. And 5 of his last 7 playoff games before this recent stretch, he went under 23.5 all those times. So it's like, if any spot to get him under, everybody obviously paying attention, like, oh, J-Dub is going off. He's averaged 30 over the last 3. He just had 40. I'm going to bet is over. I feel like in Indiana, game 6, the basketball fan in me wants a game 7, and I feel like Rick Carlisle is going to have to change something up because a lot of J-Dub's buckets have been easy buckets at the rim. That's kind of got him going. I think they'll make some sort of adjustment, kind of slow him down. And also just look for, as you always say, a little bit of shooting regression. Like, he's not that great of a shooter as he's been displaying the last 3 games. I feel like on the road, he'll start to miss a few shots, and maybe that can change the tide in Indiana. If they are to win, I feel like that script has to be in play with J-Dub going under 23.5.
All right. So here, I like this one a lot. I think he's totally due for some regression. I got him at like 80-1 to win Finals MVP, but I mean, I think it's Shea. Shea's averaging over 30 points a game, and people are saying he's having a bad series.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Tell me which one you like. Towns, McBride, a top 8 protected from the Wizards, a pick swap, and a 2032 second. Do you like Towns, Hart, McBride, a top 8 protected from the Wizards, a 232 pick swap, and a 2032 second? Or do you like OG, Bridges, McBride, a 2032 first round pick swap, a 2032 pick, a 2030 first round pick swap, and a 2026 top 8 protected from the Wizards?
I like that one. And honestly, if you're New York, I feel like after the last offseason you had, like, you probably want to try to keep Towns and Brunson together. And if you can add Giannis to that, where now it becomes Town, because I feel like Towns, he's always been a number 2 guy, even though, his potential, his ceiling was number 1. He was never going to reach that, in my opinion. Yeah. And I feel like he's a pretty inconsistent 2 at best. If you can make him the number 3, I think that's actually a really good spot for him, where it's like, you don't need Karl-Anthony Towns to have his best game, every game in the playoffs. And you got Giannis and Brunson to really carry that offensive load. And as for Milwaukee, you get some versatile wings and Bridges and Anunoby. And obviously you're still going to be in a somewhat of a rebuild, but you could build around those pieces. You could go get good guard depth to go with your wings, or a solid big, and start to build from there. So I definitely would go with trade scenario number 3 on that.
Yeah. I mean, to me, you get the wings, you get the picks. I would definitely definitely look to go with that. And who knows with the East, like, dude, you got OG and Bridges. Maybe you could F around and actually do something. My first one, and look, I know the line has moved but when I came up with it was the Thunders. Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. The Thunders. It was the Thunder -5. Now look, it's up to 6.5 here. I still like it there. Overall, teams as a home dogs in Game 6 cover the spread just 33% of the time. Now a lot of those games are in the first round. If you take out the first round, it jumps to 44%. But if you take out the first and second round, it dips dramatic. 33%. If you take out the first round games, 44%. If you look just strictly at the finals, 17%. So the deeper you get in the rounds, the less that it favors the home teams that are dogs. So I absolutely love him there. You got Halliburton, his calf injury, major issue. The way he plays, quick cuts, changes directions. That calf is huge. Even if he plays, he won't be 100%. We've seen calf injuries turn into bigger problems. Look at KD a couple years ago. If he can't go, he's gonna be limited. His backcourt is gonna be trouble. Now let's get into the way. OKC. SGA is a killer, playing at an MVP level. He put it up 35 in Game 4 to erase that 10-point deficit. In Game 5, he dropped 31, 6, and 7, and was considered a bad game. He's averaging 28, 6.7 assists, 6.6 rebounds in his playoffs. Indiana just can't match up with him. Nemhart, Neesmith, they've been drawing fouls to try to stay in front of him. With Halliburton hurt, SGA, he'll be in attack tonight all night. I think he flirts with 35. OKC's defense is starting to become a really problem. They have the number 1 defense in the playoffs. They're holding teams to 33% from 3. They shut down teams like Memphis, Denver, and Minnesota, holding them to 19, 14, even 4 points under their season average per 100 possessions. Indy's offense is good, second offensive reign in the playoffs, but they live on shooting 40 from 3. Dort, Williams, Caruso, they can close out. They can create turnovers. Indiana had 19 of them in Game 3. With Halliburton hobbled, that number could easily rise. OKC's got the bench. Caruso dropped 20. Wiggins had his clutch game. Jalen Williams went off for 40 in Game 5. Indiana's bench, they just don't have enough. They have Mathurin, who's been great. But other than that, are you really going to count on TJ McCowell? And it's funny because, full transparency, my old ass fell asleep during the game. I woke up to 3 text messages, and all of them said the same thing. TJ McConnell. That was it. All of it. And it was one of those things. It was like, did they fucking win the game? Because I had no idea who won it when I woke up because I fell asleep.
They were this close.
I'm like, did they fucking win it? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, so that was my first thing. I was like, motherfucker, did TJ McConnell? And with the way the Pacers voodoo's been, I actually thought for 5 minutes before I checked it, it was probably a possibility. But no, I like the Thunder here. I think they're going to roll. I think if I can find a Thunder minus 15 and a half at a good number, I'm going to play that. I think this is going to be the game where they actually just destroy them. Next one, my man, you know what? I like this one. I looked at it a lot too. I just don't know if he's going to play.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to play either. And I know he got the MRI today, so I'm assuming we'll hear about the results tomorrow morning probably. But I mean, he's cleared this mark every game of the series, even though he's played besides Game 3, he hasn't played good at all in the series. And then obviously coming off the last game where he didn't hit a field goal. And I was like, if he's going to play, I know they're going to – hopefully it's not as bad as it seemed. But, I mean, he seemed to still be moving around pretty well as far as the end of Game 5 goes. It's just Halliburton has these weird stretches where it's like he just doesn't shoot the ball. And it's like the thing with OKC's defense, and I hate that the Pacers have been doing it because I feel like that's where at least 30% of their turnovers are coming from. The Pacers are passing up good looks to try to get that great look. And you're not going to get that great look versus this OKC defense more times than not. So just take the good shot when you get it. Yeah. And at home, obviously Pacers are a great home team. I'm expecting them to give their last punch. If Halliburton can give it a go, I just feel like 13.5. This is the lowest you're going to get him at, and it's a good number. I think I seen it earlier right before we came on. It had dropped all the way to negative 102 for me, so almost even money. I'd be willing to take it. If I'm Halliburton, I'm like, if I'm going to play, you got to go out swinging. Feel like he's got to get some more shot attempts up. I think he finished the game with 6 shot attempts. That definitely cannot happen. But again, obviously, I understand if people want to have caution with this one because it's up in the air if he's playing right now. But from the sound of what he's been saying in the post game pressers and some of his interviews today, unless that MRI comes back and just says like, oh, like this is a grade 2 strain, I expect him to give it a go. I expect him to finish with at least 15 points and at least go out swinging. So
yeah. My favorite bet for the NBA Finals, and I didn't bet it the one time he went over, was Halliburton under his PRA. I didn't bet at game 3 because I had that spot circled for the Pacers. Every other game he's gone under it. And it dropped from what is it? It dropped from 31.5 to 26.5. 6-point drop based on the injury. My next bet, I'm going to the big man. Give me Miles Turner over 1.5 threes at plus 102. First off, let's just look at his shooting numbers. Regular season, 39.6% from 3. First round of the playoffs, 37.5. Second round, 56.3. Round 3, which is the conference finals, 31.8. Still good numbers. In the finals, 22.7% from deep. He's due. Classic positive shooting regression spot. The volume is still up there. He's attempting 4 to 5 threes per game. Plus, if Halliburton is limited or doesn't play, Turner becomes even more important in the offense. They're going to need his shooting to help spread the floor. At home this season, he averaged 2.3 makes per game while shooting 38.1%. So he's very capable of hitting this number. All the numbers point to some positive shooting regression coming in. So I'm going to take a shot at Turner over 1.5 threes. And we're getting this at a plus number. You know what I mean? We're getting Miles Turner at 1.5 threes at a plus number. I'd be a fool if I didn't play it. So I absolutely have to do it, man.
yeah, no, I like that one. And that falls along the lines of what I was saying. Like they're getting some good looks and they just pass them up and then they end up turning over the ball. It's like I know Miles Turner, he struggled quite a bit this series. Like you could tell that's in his head because these looks that he's getting in the past series, he would just it was going up and it was money. And it's like, just take the shot. Like that's the worst thing you do is not take the shot and then regret it later when you lose a series. Like, oh, if we would have done this here, like just let it fly. That's all you can do at this point. It's do or die, literally. So
my big thing is I'm looking at my futures. If Halliburton doesn't play, can Shea get 11 assists to be the assist leader?
honestly,
like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm going to need Hallie not to play for this bet to hit.
see, the problem is if he doesn't play and it's like OKC, you know, like no pun intended, but like thunderstorm in game 6, I always joke with Chris. I'm like, Shea's going to stat pad. He's going to go get his buckets to keep his numbers where they are. And I can see Shea just going off for his own 40 piece and like 2-3 assists because he doesn't care about passing at that point. It's like, I'm just here to win and do what I do, which is score the basketball. But hey, it could happen. You never know with this OKC team. It could come from anywhere. So if he's passing and all those other guys are knocking down shots, it definitely has a chance. But,
oh, I misspoke. He needs 11 to tie.
Oh, he needs 11 to tie, so he would need 12 to.
Yeah, but if he gets 11, that's still a split at it.
Can you look this? Has Shea ever gotten 12 assists in a game in his career?
I don't know. Let me look.
Maybe he has, but off just thinking of Shea and what I've seen over there, I feel like he hasn't ever eclipsed that mark. Maybe I'm wrong though.
Got in. I got my AI tool doing its thing while I talking about we just did Nemhart over 10.5, correct?
Yep. So this kind of my backup if Halliburton isn't, 100% and not fully going. The one guy they've been missing this whole series, and granted, I get it, it's probably because he's got to spend the whole time on defensive side of the ball chasing around the SGA. But it's been Andrew Nembhard. He's not performed, and to end the game in game 5, he has played like shit. I want to say he had like all 4 of his turnovers in that fourth quarter. And it was literally when they cut the lead to 2. Nembhard had like 2 in a row, I know for sure, that turned into points for the other end. But he's got to get it going, and I feel like there's some positive regression due for him here, where it's like he just needs to see the ball go through the hoop a couple of times, and he's kind of one of those streaky guys for Indiana, where it's like before you look up, Nembhard's got 15, 20 points, and it's not necessarily something you were accounting for. He hasn't really been shooting the 3 ball. I feel like he'll get a little bit more 3 attempts in this do or die game 6 with his back against the wall. So I just expect Nembhard to kind of just look like what he's looked like earlier in the playoffs. And just, I think this Indiana team is truly going to come out and play with some reckless abandon, which I think they kind of need because they've been playing timid the last couple of games. The turnovers in their head and stuff, whereas they just need to let the ball fly. I think Nembhard is going to let it fly as well. I think he'll have a pretty solid outing in game 6.
March 29th of this season, the Thunder played the Pacers, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 12 assists.
Oh, that's where he got it. Wow.
He had 12 assists. So I'm trying. So the other future I have is Aaron Nesmith to lead the series in threes, and he's tied with Dort. So I need like Dort to have a shitty on the road game, and I need Nesmith to get it done. My third and final bets, and I hate it because I hate this player. Give me Mathurin over 10.5 points. Hallie's calf injury is nothing to mess with. We've seen this type of injury lead to something more, namely Kevin Durant. You mentioned it. There is a possibility he couldn't play. And if he doesn't play, can you guess who the top scorer was when there's no Halliburton in the lineup? It was Mathurin. He averaged 21 points per game, got 15 shots a game, and he went over 10.5 in 6 of the 7 games this year when there was no Halliburton. If Halliburton even does go, he's going to be in there more because he gives them the cutting. He can get to the rim. He just brings a lot more to the game, and he's way more explosive right now, creating than Nembhard and Nesmith are. Nembhard, you talked about it. He has this little like pump fake, and then he's like scared to shoot it. It's like, dude, the shot's there. Just fucking shoot it, dude.
Yeah.
It's like he's forcing the extra pass. Mathurin has shown that he'll take the ball to the rim. He's been great and getting to the free throw line. Shout out to him for missing those 3 throws. So I was able to hit my Thunder -6 the other day. Appreciate you, man. But
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, he's definitely gonna get up enough shot attempts to cover that 10.5. I was like, is he gonna make the free throws to cover the 10.5?
Hey, buddy, you know what, dude?
He's been off the last couple games,
and it was awesome, dude. Like, it was legitimately awesome. Like him missing that, and like because like that's the thing. Like when you're a gambler, the gambling math that goes on in your head at end of games, you're like, okay, you need this to happen, this to happen, this to happen. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh shit. Yeah. And I'm playing it out in my head, watching that game on Friday night. I'm like, am I going to get a fucking cover here? Because I hit them live when they were plus 250. So I was already sitting on the Thunder plus 250 live. And I'm like, am I going to fucking hit this on the spread too? And shout out to him, he missed it. and then they like, so, you know, I'll always a special place in my heart, but I'm going to take the bet, dude. Mathurin over 10.5. Bryce, I'd like to thank you for coming on, talking a little NBA. Why don't you tell everyone when the I Need It Sports Pod comes out and everything?
Yes, I Need a Sports Podcast. So we've been going live every Tuesday night, and then we've kind of been trying to match it up with the playoff games to go live during the games. Potential is there for possibly, if Indiana can force a Game 7, possibly going live on Sunday night for Game 7 of the NBA Finals. But if not, we'll be back Tuesday night next week to recap the whole series. We'll be back Tuesday night regardless to recap the series as is and just get everything going. And then we'll probably go on like a little like month or so hiatus here while we wait on football season to really get going. But once football season gets going, we'll be back live every Tuesday night at 7 or 8 Central. Definitely go follow us on Twitter or X at INISPOD as you see below my screen. We'll tweet everything out there so you'll always stay up to date for when we are going live or when we got any planned episodes. But yeah, man, as the basketball fan in me, I just want Indiana to force Game 7 just so we can get an extra day of basketball. It's just always that time of the year where it's like baseball is cool. I'll turn it on every now and again, but regular season baseball is even worse than regular season basketball for me. And then WNBA is cool, but that league, the start of this year has kind of been dry with the WNBA. It basically seems like we're just on a crash course for Minnesota Lynx, New York Liberty rematch, and every other team is kind of just iffy. And so just want to see as much basketball as we can possible. So definitely rooting for Indiana, but coming in the series, I had the Thunder in 6, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder do just go ahead and smack them and finish things off in Indy.
As someone that has a Thunder plus 950 ticket,
you just wanted to get
I
over.
just want it to be over. Fucking just let it be over. Let me cash my ticket. I am absolutely fine for that. So, Bryce, thanks for coming on. Make sure to give my boy Bryce a follow and check out his live show. I always chime in a little bit and give my 2 cents on everything that's going on that they're talking about. So make sure to check that out. Appreciate it, man, and look forward to having you on again, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, as always, Eric.